Good afternoon, gentlemen. So, let us start with a very general discussion on the actual usage of AI in ensuring a better cyber resilience. So, if an opening statement from each of you, that will be good to start with. Dr. Yusuf.
Yeah, I think it's a good question and very pertinent, futuristic and an important subject, and how cyber is one of the areas of focus where we can actually leverage AI. And I think it's not that area that is something that we can avoid. I think it's very important to look avenues where actually we have used AI in cyber, because the way the cyber ever evolving threat landscape which is growing, the amount of sophistication of attacks is going to be literally impossible for a human to actually detect certain anomalies which might not be part of the normal. So I think AI will definitely help in detection and response, because that's the heart of cyber. So if you're not able to detect, you would not be able to protect or something, right? So I think it will play a major role, game changer.
Thank you for inviting me here and taking from Dr. Yusuf. Yes, AI is playing a very vital role for organizational resilience in terms of it is further enhancing the predictive analytics, which is helping the organization to foresee the challenges, foresee the issues, and take immediate action. It is also helping in real-time monitoring, so that in case of any eventuality, in case of any challenge, any issue, you can create your action plan. And also it is helping in action plans. You can automate your incident response and all those things. Apart from that, in case of any issue, it is again helping to take faster decision making. So overall, if you see the scheme of things, AI is definitely is helping in any organization in terms of resilience.
Jaspreet, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. Pleasure seeing you once again. I think a slightly different point of view, right? As always, consultants can't agree to everything. Otherwise, I'll not have a job. While everybody's spoken about use of AI to stop cyber attacks, I think it's also the other way around, right? The same problem that a lot of CIOs faced from a shadow IT perspective is again going to become very common from an AI perspective. For example, what stops me on my laptop to download DeepSeek, open source, and run my own small LLM from that perspective? Or for any other business use case, be it marketing, digital, download so many AI tools. What that does is it increases your attack surface. It increases the vector without the poor CIO, CISO even understanding how the attack surface is increasing. Given that, I think that's why I think it's a double-edged sword, right? On one case, it will enable us to detect faster, respond even more faster, but it will also compound the problem in itself. Back to you, sir.
So perfectly said, sir. So like everything else, every change in life, this is also a double-edged sword. So let's start from the beginning. So we've had multiple discussions on this topic over the last year or maybe more than that. And one question that we get asked is that how long is this AI in cybersecurity project going to last in my company? And so the answer that we give to them is that this is a marathon, this is an ongoing event, never to finish. It's not a sprint. So I wanted to have the view of the panel here on what kind of AI projects have been taken over, and does it really have an end date, and how difficult is it to convince the other key stakeholders in the management to be able to invest in in a long-term phase in AI? Dr. Yusuf?
See, the way AI has been introduced into the market, into the industry, uh, it comes with a lot of buzzwords, right? So,
Yes.
and initial 1 or 2 years, if you have seen, these buzzwords take some kind of maturity curve before they actually get realized
Correct.
into the environment, right? So, uh, as we all know that AI in cyber has been currently in POCs, how we can actually include that into our SOC, threat detection response. Most of them we have, as we have seen my colleagues, they have been testing the efficacy of how AI can be used in a certain scenario in your discovery of data, right? Your security detection and response. So I think uh, what is the right approach that organization should take is to take one step further, right? So I would definitely would like to actually focus on my threat detection, because AI is something will actually help me to actually process and analyze vast amount of data, which I generally not able to perform my analysis, right? So there's a one-step approach before you take the next step. I would create use cases where actually it really fits into my environment, right? Contextual ability is something that is very essentially to know that what you need, and you adopt certain technology, and then when you take one step further. So it's a journey. It can't be done over a period of months or years. You have to take step further in order to adopt certain capabilities into your environment. That's how resilience is. Resilience is not a one-day job, right? Because the learning curve, the best of the AI's model that you have, it all depends on the kind of training data that you actually feed in.
Correct.
Right? Which means that I need to have enough data in order to train my AI model, right? And if that data is biased, outdated, I think there's a lot of improvement that you need to perform in order to take further next step, rather than relying on certain models into environment.
Perfect. So AI journey within the organization is more of a long-term journey. Right? Sujoy sir, what kind of challenges have?
Keep in mind two important things. One, from the security point of view, that is, you need to do a risk assessment before implementing AI solution. In case of any issue, how you can manage that particular situation. And second is what we talked about. It's an ongoing process. It's a continuous training and modeling of data to get the accurate, realistic outputs, which can help you in the organizational growth and their roadmap.
Perfect. So we are going to come back to that point on risk management. So Jaspreet sir, so in terms of AI usage for resilience within a large enterprise, you worked with many large companies. So what does from a investor point of view or from the board point of view, how does the board view enterprise resilience using? How does one increase the security posture using AI as a tool?
I think very pertinent question, given that the going concern is almost one of the primary matters that every board talks today, right? On how resilient we are as an organization. And if you add AI to the mix, and we, uh, in the previous panel and the previous speaker also spoke about the entire complexity in architectures changing with the AI coming in, right? If you look at 20 years ago, I had an on-premise setup, no connections to the outside world. I was very happy sitting in a server room managing that. To now, literally your data, your servers, and everything could be anywhere in this world. And if you add the ability to deploy agentic AI, for that matter, right? Resilience takes a very different meaning. Gone are the days when a lot of organizations used to ask their service providers to give them a DR test report, right?
Correct.
With agentic AI, I don't even think DR as a concept would survive, right? Or gone are the days when, IT vendors would sign up for 5 nines
0.99.
availability, 1.999 availability. So again, I think two important aspects here. One is obviously the entire resilience of the AI infrastructure itself, because you are entering so much data there. How do you look at the resilience of that AI agents, your LLMs, etc.? The other is using that, using the agentic AIs, using the large LLMs. Can you create a different framework from a resilience perspective in your organization, right? Can I look at my business process, God forbid something happens, right? We are hit by, unfortunately, another COVID. Can I use agentic AI to do some work which actually required people to come to office? And now I don't need anybody to do that, right? It's the same story, right? When autopilot came, people said pilots will go out of job. But still, for every commercial aircraft, you have 2 pilots, 1 backup pilot in every flight that you take. Similarly, can agentic AI play a massive role in the resilience of an organization? I think absolutely.
Very, very valid point, sir. So let's go deeper into this. Sir. So Dr. Yusuf, you mentioned about analytics role, analytics in terms of risk prioritization, let's say at a typical SIM level. And you mentioned earlier during our discussion that the analyst role is going to go a very deep change. So can we get an example there where how a typical risk analyst role has become more focused, and the output from an enterprise point of view is you are getting a better output in terms of your prioritization and analysis of the particular risk.
I think it's a question about intuition, right? Intuition is something which is very unique to human behavior, right? And when a SOC analyst is sitting at the desk, right, one is the understanding of the environment. Second is his intuition towards something might go wrong, right? He has all the wides open, different sources, discussion, right? He talks to different people. So I think AI will, when it comes to AI, it will take, I think, years for AI to actually replace that level of intuition that a human nature has.
Perfect.
I think that's where actually most of the attacks are being detected, right? It's not just by chance. It's by human nature, understanding of the network, what could go wrong, what not, the historical area. So there are a lot of input point which is running in the brains of the analyst before he actually take a decision. So AI, I think where AI would be able to actually help the analyst in actually amalgamating all the sources of data into one, so that he's have more ability to actually have focus on the areas which he might not be able to see, right? Some of the hidden facts.
Correct.
I think that's where AI really helps to actually help the person sitting at the SOC to actually take, that's what is expected from that person, right? So, and similar fashion, if you see the attackers, can AI think the way the attackers think?
Correct.
May or may not be, because the way, that's where human intelligence came into picture. So I think it will take some time before we actually have, so agentic AI, yes, definitely will come into, but what is the level of trust that I will have in my agents to take decisions, right? That is a big question. I'm yet to get into that stage in order to take decision, right? Yes, AI can help me to take decisions, but shall I remove my L0s or L1s from the SOC? Is big question. I don't have that courage as of now, right?
Sujoy sir wants to add something.
Well, whatever experience I have on AI and what from the implementation and POCs and all these things, what I can see is that AI, as of now, whatever the avatar of AI is there in present and people are using it, I don't think it is not going to replace the leadership quality, empathy, or up to the extent the creativity. The creativity comes from the human only, and that is fed to AI, and it further gives the output. The beginning of the creativity starts from him, not from the AI. So currently, whatever avatar we see in AI, these things are yet to come in this technology, and that's why it can't replace human. It's definitely helping us to further automate the things, reducing the turnaround time, reducing that human error, whatever places if I take example of quality assurance function, it was further, most of the, especially if I talk about manufacturing organization from where I come, it was mainly human driven, where it is sometimes there are human errors, but it is reducing that. So, a lot of mundane activities are getting automated, which is further reducing the turnaround time. In terms of supply chain process and all those things, that is also getting reduced. So in that area, definitely it's going to play important role, and it's playing important role. A lot of people have adopted that, but still that
Perfect, of
particular
course.
empathy and all those things still.
So we all agree it's in infancy and it is still developing. Jaspreet sir,
Yes.
your views.
It's a process which we talked a
Correct,
little back.
correct,
It's a journey. It'll continue, keep on improving. A lot of new versions is going to come.
Correct. Jaspreet sir, your views.
I think, again, if anybody's fond of reading magazines, can pick up the cover of the New Yorker magazine. I think it was last year, December. It showed a street in New York. Robos were walking on the street and humans were sitting on the side begging. I think it's not a question of either or, right? Whether humans or AI. I feel AI is actually changing the way we're doing risk assessment. I think a lot of routine L1, L2 jobs, right? You will use AI, you will train AI to catch those anomalies. What I want to do on top of that, the decision making is also would probably be 50-50. Today, everything from a decision making is humans, right? But if you also see, if I can predict my decision making powers, saying if this happens from A, I will not go to B, I'll go to C. If I can feed that in AI, and because it is self-learning, right, and self-improving all the time, and it picks up data sets, not only from your data, but it learns from the environment also. So I think there will be very soon, in maybe next 6 to 12 months, where a lot of these things that are automated, that require very basic human intelligence to be applied.
Correct.
From a risk management perspective, will move to AI or should move to.
Agreed. It is already
should
actually
move to
happening.
AI.
Yes.
And larger discussions around enterprise risk management, sustainability, etc. I think the conversations from a risk level will be elevated, and no longer will you talk about low-level risks or risks that AIs would probably look after. And if you add the entire piece around AIs talking to each other also, right? I don't know how many of you saw a photograph where actually, I think it was 21st of February, 10 p.m., 2 AI agents deployed in the same organization actually started interacting with each other.
Correct.
Right? If that can happen in an organization which was using a very, very famous LLM model open for everybody, imagine if I train it on my own. What all can it do? Right from today, I know so many organizations where the first level of CV screening or profile screening
is being handled.
is done by AIs.
Correct.
Right? Something which used to take an hour for a HR analyst to do
Each CV.
is being done in about 2 minutes by an agent.
Correct.
Right? Imagine the power that HR analyst has now on upgrading himself, right? To do bigger, better, larger tasks. So I think the same will come to risk management. So also, all our risk registers, everything, I think it's a matter of time when you'll just automate everything.
Correct. Perfect. Perfect. So we are saying that we all agree that in terms of the low skills vacancies, opportunities in the cybersecurity domain, there is going to be a massive change where, like Jaspreet sir mentioned about, reskilling will happen. So mostly in the L1, L2 space, at least in the L1 space, lot of changes happen where agentic AI might take over a lot of jobs. Now going deeper again into this, and so we hear about user and entity behavior analytics, and how behavior analytics is now not only working from the user point of view, from the enterprise point of view, even the hackers obviously are sitting inside your network in forms of malicious code and kind of studying the user analytics, where what is the best time when the user is, the defenses are down, and then the hacker can actually get the maximum benefit of an attack. So considering that, and the considering that the hacker community also has access to the latest in AI, how big a risk is that for the enterprise, and what can be done on that from cybersecurity perspective?
Now, from cybersecurity perspective, we all know that it has both the dark side and the good side. But there are more controls which are available. I think AI is just not a one control, right? We usually tend to forget that there's a basic premise that your entire organization is protected. I think the first focus is to get that working first, get your basics implemented, your basic controls, right? Antivirus, EDRs, which is normal, right? Because what I have experienced that attackers have started leveraging AI, right? Creating such a beautiful phishing email. It's very difficult to track that.
Absolutely.
Crack that because they are so compelling. That's where AI is coming into picture and they can do it in vast amount. So they can send thousands and lakhs of phishing mails with such crafted for a specific
And
domain,
personalized.
function, personalized. So that's where I think we are seeing so many phishing attacks have grown over period. I think we have seen that. Correct. And our email security system yet not into that maturity level. Some of them are, because I'll give an example that there's a business email compromise. The attackers actually, the fraudster, they compose the email beautifully and send it for a transaction, and they maintain that kind of, it looks so genuine in the history of your email. That the email security need AI in order to detect such kind of anomalies.
Absolutely,
Usually normal
absolutely.
doesn't catch hold, and you ultimately pay back to the impersonating a CEO or a CFO from the email chain, right? That's what the accountant or the person who's actually delivering
Absolutely.
would not be able to detect. So I think there's a wide opportunity and area that AI can be leveraged in the various use cases. And I think it's a must now because the way the landscape is changing, attack surface is growing, right? IoT and OT also has now been introduced into the overall ecosystem of cybersecurity, right? So the attack surface is significantly growing, and understanding of the business context is something that where your human expertise will actually play a major role in training those AI models. That will play a major game changer, right?
Correct.
When you actually put a human situational awareness of a model, that should actually just replicate how a human actually do it, but in a faster way. That's the response. The time to actually action is something that AI comes into picture here. L1, L2, we can always focus on that, but that's not all the story, right? There are much beyond L1, L2 tasks that are being complex jobs which are being performed.
Absolutely.
Right? So I think that's something that area that we need to look for.
So we are just getting out of time. So one last statement on the challenges and the opportunity from you and Jaspreet sir.
So, in very short, recently I wrote an article on AI. It has, where I mentioned it has 3 phases, good, bad, ugly. You have to maximize the good phase, minimize the bad, and eliminate the ugly.
Perfectly said, sir.
So, whenever you're implementing,
That's a
do a
great
proper
statement.
risk and assessment of
That's a great
in that
question.
particular area where you're implementing, so that in case of any eventuality, you can recover fast.
Jaspreet sir, I want to just change the last question for you. Uh, does AI need a seat at the board of the company now?
AI definitely will not only need a seat at the board of the company, it will drive a lot of changes that happen. It will drive a lot of things that happen at the board of the
At the
company.
board. Perfect.
I think that is the way the future will evolve. So it's a train. If you miss it, then you're caught at the platform only.
Perfect. Thank you, gentlemen, all of you for sparing your time, coming here, and such an interesting discussion. Thank you very much.